And we are live with the Wild Protea. How's it, guys? Welcome to the Wild Protea, what I hope will become South Africa's very first fan channel one day. If you've watched Arsenal Fan TV or the United Stand on YouTube, you know what I'm getting at. So I want to get all the fans to interact, to converse, to chat with me. But not only me, hopefully we can grow this. You know, I'm starting this here on Facebook, obviously, because hopefully to get all my friends involved. Hopefully we can start the conversation, and the conversation can go and grow from there. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, obviously. Also hit that notification button so you can get all the latest from the Wild Protea. Also subscribe as well. Yeah, so there's a saying that they used to have in the Premier League that I quite liked. When Stoke was still in the Premier League, they should say, you know, if you can go and do it on a wet Wednesday at Stoke, you know, then you've got the stones to do the stuff in the Premier League. So let's see if I can do this on a wet Friday in Cape Town. I know the situation's not the same. There's no rain pouring down on me, but yeah, we'll try. And also, guys, I know all the guys out there. I know the Champions League is starting at 9 o'clock. I will not be cutting into your Champions League time. Huge tie tonight between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. So yeah, I'll be watching that as well. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of news lately. Obviously, a lot of news in the cricket sphere because of what's going on at the moment. You know, ThemI coming out and saying his things. Also, some revelations about AB de Villiers. Graeme Smith made a statement also. So, you know, this is why I'm sticking mostly to cricket, because there's a lot happening at the moment. And yeah, let's just begin to unpack the situation. So, obviously, ThemI was on the radio last week. And so CSA came out with a statement basically just defending themselves and their actions in the whole 2015 match fixing scandal. Yeah, sorry guys. So Judge Bernard Ngupe oversaw the match fixing scandal. Now this was an intense investigation that lasted 18 months. He said that no players or attorneys submitted that they were coerced into admitting guilt or signing their sanctions. They also were consulted in the process of their press releases as well. Then he goes on to say Mr. Tolikile received a formal charge sheet, also presented with extensive evidence in the presence of his lawyer as well. These obviously, you know, the claims that there was no that ThemI made, that there was no evidence against him. And then he goes on to say Vaughan van der Asphalt, Craig Alexander, both were approached by Gulam Bodhi as well. However, they did report that they were approached to SACA, that is the South African Cricketers Association, and also the ACU, the Anti-Corruption Unit. Their names were not released because to protect them from I don't know, to protect them from scrutiny, I guess. Yeah, they were not. Their names were not released in the initial report. And then he also went on to say that there was no discrimination against black players. There were players from all races that were charged and were brought in for questioning and so on and so forth. And then the last little thing that he had to say was there was no evidence against Robbie Fryling in the Champions League T20 in India. It also is a separate investigation, apparently, that the ICC have to investigate, because it wasn't on South African shores. Obviously it was India, They also approached a few bookies and they found no information on Robbie Fryling. Yeah, so guys, like, I'm not here to take sides. I'm not going to take anyone's side because obviously, like, I don't know the whole truth. Obviously, that's somewhere between ThemI and CSA or these two, the South African Players Cricket Association, and you know, you've heard both sides of the story. Now, obviously, CSA were going to come out and defend themselves. You know, it's only, I mean, obviously they're going to come out and defend themselves. It's a no-brainer, really. But you know, to basically say that, you know, ThemI's lying, I'm not too sure that that's going to go down well, especially with the, you know, with everything going on at the moment. It's a time for hard conversations, and I think maybe CSA played this one a bit too aggressively, maybe, if you want to say it like that. Yeah, guys, but I mean, you know, what's your thoughts on this whole match fixing scandal with ThemI? How do you think it played out? You know, ThemI saying that he did no wrong, or not no wrong, but he didn't report it straight away and stuff like that. But he also mentioned other players who didn't. Now, you know, they've come out and said that those players did, but they weren't. It wasn't known to the public to protect them and their families and stuff like that. So you can understand the situation, but yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's my opinion is that obviously something must have happened. You know, during that time. You know, ThemI's been very open and hopefully honest about, you know, what he said on radio and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully we can get to the bottom of everything really that's coming out in South African cricket at the moment. You know, it's a tough situation at the moment, and hopefully we can get through and bring some more light onto the situation. Another incident that happened quite a while back when Kaya Zondo was in the team. Apparently, AB de Villiers threatened to retire allegedly when they played in India. I think someone got injured, and then, you know, Kaya was he was in the squad. And then when someone got injured, he didn't then get the chance to play. They flew in Dean Algar, and apparently AB de Villiers threatened to retire if Kaya played. And I don't know if there's a personal grievance with him and Kaya, if they don't get along. You know, obviously things of this nature are left out when these things happen. I don't know their personal relationship. Obviously, I'm just a fan, and I'm just giving my opinion. And I'd love to get the opinion of you guys. So get commenting and let me know what you think happened, you know, in these various situations. It's just that every instance of this happening seems to be when the player's black. Now, I'm not just saying it's just happening to black players, because there was an incident where Graeme Smith got passed over by Ashwell Prince. When on a tour, I think it was to Australia or England or something to that effect. So it is something that happens. You know, Ashwell did at that time. He just came off the back of a 90 odd for the SAA team, so you can see kind of why that happened. Dean Algar, when you look at his stats, you know, in the one-day stuff, they weren't nothing to write home about. So it just makes you wonder, you know. And you know, Gary Kirsten did say that he also must stand up and be accountable for, you know, things that happened in the past as well. He was the coach at the time as well. So it's a difficult thing to try and work out and try and sift through. But you know, like I keep saying, the hard conversations need to keep happening, and hopefully there's a way. Everything needs to be, I think what most players want is just the acknowledgement that, you know, there you go, sorry about that. The weather seems to be creating havoc with my Wi-Fi at the moment, but we will persevere. Like I was saying, I think that most players just want most of the black players that were discriminated against. I think they just want some acknowledgement, some form of, you know what, this happened, and some form of an apology maybe. And also they want to rectify it for the future. They want to make sure that this doesn't happen to future generations of black and coloured cricketers. Obviously now it's a tough situation at the moment, but you know, hopefully going forward we can get some clarity and someone taking responsibility for what happened and saying, you know what, this happened and it happened on our watch, his watch, her watch, whatever. You know, we are moving in the right direction, and hopefully we can get things sorted. Now on to Graeme Smith and the statement he put out. I think it was yesterday on Twitter or somewhere. He said a lot. I'm not going to read the whole statement, so I've summarized a few parts of it that I think are the most pertinent to the situation. He said he never got along with everyone. You know, they had personal relationship challenges with players of all races, and they were well documented in the media. He said with regards to the whole ThemI situation in, I think it was 2012 when they toured in England. I think it was when Mark Boucher got injured. So this is what he said. ThemI was a backup keeper to AB de Villiers. He got told this by Gary Kirsten, and ThemI acknowledged this. It wasn't his. He also said it wasn't his decision, and he only had input as the captain. So basically saying, I don't know how you can be a backup keeper to someone who's a backup keeper. That just doesn't make sense. And also AB said at that time that he doesn't want to be keeper because he wants to concentrate. I mean, this was around the whole time when Mark Boucher was, I mean, I think it was obviously coming to the end of his career. It was about to be probably his last tour. So, you know, it's a tough situation, but you know, to tell ThemI that he's the backup to AB when AB doesn't really want to keep is a strange one. And like ThemI said, you wonder if they were in the same meetings, because he got told something totally different by the selectors. You know, Andrew Hudson at times one of the selectors. I think he was one of the top selectors. And he got told something different by him to what was told to him by Gary Kirsten and Graeme Smith. So, and like Graeme Smith says, he wasn't in control. So basically he's saying it's not his fault that this happened, and even though it happened on his watch as captain, he only had input into the team. Now, when he says he only had input into the team, surely if he had, I mean, I'm sure he had lots of pull, and he could, if he really wanted ThemI to play, he could have had him in the team. ThemI at the time was averaging like around 60 with the bat in domestic franchise cricket. He was obviously the best wicketkeeper batsman in the country by a stretch. Yeah, and it's just obviously there's something that happened there that's not quite right, and hopefully through both sides coming together and talking about it, we can get more on that. And then he also said that he had no say in the financials at that time. It wasn't decided by him; it was decided by other people. He also ThemI also had something to say about traveling alone. He also said that traveling alone is common in the sport. He traveled alone many times as well to do conferences, press conferences, while the team was moving to a different country and stuff like that. Then I told you about the Ashwell Prince situation where he was left out, and Ashwell Prince flew in and straight into the team, obviously, as well. And then the last bit of his statement, I'm going to read word for word for you guys. I understand that the current environment is one where a lot of hurts are finally being aired out in regard to South African cricket, and I'm happy to engage in discussions in the right forum, even if it is uncomfortable, because I believe we can only learn from the past. and hope to shape a brighter future. Yeah, so obviously the director of cricket wants to get stuck in and involved in some difficult conversations. Now, just by that statement, I think he's deflecting a lot of the blame. I wish that he would have come out and said, you know what, at that time I wasn't good enough. Because you know what, guys, like I've made mistakes. You know, you look at me, I'm a white guy. I grew up in a white household, but I grew up, you know, obviously, you know, in South Africa, the new South Africa, if they want to call it that. You know, I grew up around a lot of people of color, but you know, that's not to say that I've never said a racial slur or anything. But the thing is, I've learned since then, and I've realized the error in my ways, and you know, I'm striving to be a better human every day. And I think that what these players want is just an admission, someone to just come out and say, listen, you know what, you were wrong. I was there at the time. Maybe it was my decision or this one's decision, but let's get on the right foot. Let's work together to see what we can do about the situation for future guys. I think that's the right way to go about it. I just think that, you know, by deflecting the matter, he wants to have the conversation in the right forum. Obviously, he feels that by ThemI going onto the radio is not the right way to go about it. Yeah, so I'd love to know what you guys think about the situation. If you think ThemI is wrong for going on radio and not, you know, trying to get hold of Graeme personally. And do you think, you know, Graeme it wasn't his decision at the end of the day? He was the captain. I'd be very surprised if, you know, the captain isn't thoroughly involved in our cricket. I would hope he is with regards to selection, because he has to take the field with these players. Now, obviously, it's a process, and there's a selection committee and panel and whatever, and so have you. But at the end of the day, if I'm captain, I want my guys to be with me, you know. So it's a bit strange that he says that the decision when it came to being on the field wasn't just his. I find it difficult to believe that he's going to go on the field with, you know, if he doesn't believe in a guy 100%. So if he was fighting for ThemI 100%, I don't, you know, we'll never know. But yeah, it's one of those things, I guess. So just moving on from that, guys, like there's a few other stories floating around. In rugby, Apiwe Dianti has a hearing that could be held in September. Now, obviously, Apiwe was pinged for doping last year before the World Cup, just before the World Cup. And he's been banned from rugby ever since. He's denied the charges. He's given them supplements that he thinks could be the reason why he tested positive for a banned substance. Hopefully, you know, Apiwe is 25 now. Hopefully he can get cleared of these charges, because if he gets a ban, anything like what Skara got, I think it was 8 years or something like that, then that could potentially be the end of his rugby career. And we don't want to see that. You know, Apiwe is an awesome talent, and we want to see him on the rugby field. And then also a massive congratulations to Brad Binder, you know, becoming the first South African to win a MotoGP race. Now, I don't pretend to follow MotoGP racing, but you know, when Brad's name got brought up a couple of years ago, I think when he won the Moto2 or Moto3 season or something like that, that was when I sort of started to look at his career. You know, congrats to Brad for that achievement, massive achievement for him. Hopefully he can go on to bigger and better things. Hopefully he can win the championship as well, and bring back that home for South Africa. And then also, you know, hopefully rugby will be back. They're saying like mid-September rugby will be back. Hopefully we'll get our own real version of Super Rugby. And then the winner of that can go challenge the winner of Super Rugby Aratoa, or whatever it's called. They can have their own little competition there and see who wins that. just checking here. The PSL also returned Tuesday and Wednesday to 2 thrilling draws, 1-0 and 1-1-1. Yeah, so the PSL's back as well. To everyone who watches the PSL, like I said before, I don't really follow the PSL that much. I'm trying to follow it more, but yeah, if you guys want to talk about PSL, we can do that. I would love to know more. And then yeah, last but not least, this week's challenge. There was no challenge for this week. No one challenged me this week, so there's no videos of me tapping a cricket ball or doing any challenges this week. Guys, if you want to see me do any funny or silly or challenges, sports challenge or anything, hit me, slide into my DMs there, and you can hit me up with a challenge, and hopefully we can get that going again next week. And then that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Really appreciate it. Just joking. So guys, if you're new to the channel, like I say, obviously I want to move from here to YouTube in the future. That'll be on the Fair Digest YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, like this video, don't forget to subscribe as well. Hit the notification button to get all the latest from the Wild Protea. I'll be here every week doing my thing, because this is what it's about. This is what I'm passionate about. I've been given the platform by the Fair Digest to do this. So hopefully we can grow this from strength to strength. And I'll see you all again next week. Cheers, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay